All right, ready to dive deep into marketing assistant interviews.
Let's do it.
We've got RoleCatcher's insights to help us out, career guides, sample interview questions. They even have AI to give us a boost.
I think what's really cool about RoleCatcher is that it doesn't just give generic advice, it really helps you tailor your answers to the specific skills needed for a marketing assistant role.
Yeah, like a roadmap.
Hmm.
But before we jump into those questions, let's paint a picture of what marketing assistant actually does.
Right.
Not just fetching coffee.
No, not just fetching coffee, more like the engine of the marketing department, supporting the whole team. You're prepping reports, analyzing data. You might be brainstorming those creative campaigns, maybe even diving into SEO and SIM.
The RoleCatcher Career Guide really emphasizes that mix of creativity and analytical thinking,
Right.
which is, I think, perfect for our listener who enjoys variety.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the guide, it highlights some cool career paths. You could start as a marketing assistant and move up to coordinator, specialist, even manager.
It lays it all out there.
So this isn't just about getting your foot in the door. It's about launching a whole career. Now, are you ready to tackle those interview questions?
Bring them on.
Okay. First up, tell us about your experience in marketing. Seems straightforward, but what are interviewers really looking for here?
They want to hear your marketing story. Don't just list jobs or courses. Talk about specific projects where you've used your marketing skills, even if it was for a school club or volunteer work.
So it's about showcasing your passion, how you've actually applied your knowledge. What if someone is fresh out of school and doesn't have a lot of formal experience?
That's when you get creative. Talk about your coursework. Maybe you had some personal projects. Maybe you started a blog. Did you ever run a social media campaign for a friend's business? Or even analyze the marketing strategy of your favorite brand.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can help. Their platform analyzes job descriptions. It highlights those experiences that are most relevant to that role.
Yeah, helps you tailor your answers.
All right, next question. How do you stay up to date with the latest marketing trends and technologies? This one can be tricky. What's the best way to approach it?
It's all about showing that you're a lifelong learner, that you're curious about what's new in marketing. Don't just say you read articles, name specific publications, maybe some podcasts or influencers that you follow.
Ooh, I like that. So mentioning a podcast like The Deep Dive would totally impress them.
Right, definitely. Talking about specific marketing tools or technologies you're familiar with, Google Analytics, marketing automation platforms, social media management tools.
It's about showing you're not just talking the talk, you're actually walking the walk.
Right. And just be prepared for some follow-up questions like, what's a recent marketing trend that's caught your eye?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think having a specific example is key there.
Absolutely. And think about how that trend could impact your work as a marketing assistant, not just passively consuming info, but actively thinking about how it could apply.
All right, let's tackle another one. Can you describe a successful marketing campaign you've worked on? Feels like a chance to shine, but it can be a little intimidating.
Think of it like telling a story. Set the scene. Explain the goal of the campaign, your specific role, and the results you helped achieve. It doesn't have to be some massive company-wide campaign.
So even a small project from a class or volunteer work can be impactful if you present it well. What are some common follow-up questions for this one?
What were some of the challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them? That's a classic.
Ah, yes, that classic problem-solving question. Everyone loves a good problem solver.
Exactly. Don't shy away from discussing those bumps in the road, How you adapted, collaborated with others to find solutions shows that you're resourceful, you're resilient.
Okay, this next question's a big one. What is your experience with SEO and SIM? Now, I know these are crucial areas of digital marketing, but for our listener who might not be familiar with those terms, can you break them down a little bit?
Absolutely. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, which is all about making sure your website shows up high in those search results. Google, for example.
So when someone searches for a product or service, your website is one of the first they see.
Exactly, driving traffic and leads.
Super important.
Yeah. And SEM stands for Search Engine Marketing, and that involves using paid advertising, platforms like Google Ads to reach your audience.
So strategically placing ads to reach potential customers.
Right, customers who are already searching for something related to your business.
Okay, powerful way to boost visibility.
It is. Now, when it comes to answering this interview question, you want to be honest about your experience level. If you've got hands-on experience, definitely showcase that.
Talk about specific projects, maybe where you implemented SEO strategies.
Right. Keyword research, content optimization.
Or if you've dabbled in SIM, you can explain how you use those platforms.
It's like Google Ads. To run campaigns, track results. But if you're not a seasoned expert, don't panic. Highlight your willingness to learn. Talk about your understanding of the core concepts, your eagerness to dive deeper.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can really help. Their platform can help you identify any skill gaps and even suggest relevant courses or resources.
Being proactive, showing a commitment to continuous learning, that's huge in marketing.
Okay, let's dive into another question. How do you measure the success of a marketing campaign? This one screams analytical skills.
It does. They want to see that you understand how to track, measure, and interpret data to see if a campaign is effective. Think about key performance indicators or KPIs.
KPIs, got it.
So what metrics are we looking at? Website traffic, conversion rates, social media engagement.
Okay, got it.
But don't just rattle off a list. Explain why you chose those metrics, how they align with the campaign goals.
So if the goal was brand awareness, I might focus on reach and engagement. But if it was driving sales, I'd prioritize conversion rates, ROI.
Perfect. Shows you're thinking strategically.
Should we also mention any tools that we're familiar with for tracking data? Google Analytics, for sure, but are there others we should mention?
Google Analytics is a great start. You can mention some other platforms like social media analytics tools, maybe marketing automation dashboards. It just shows you're comfortable working with the technology.
All right. What if they hit you with a follow-up? Can you give me an example of a time you used data to improve a marketing campaign?
This is your chance to tell a data-driven story. Describe a situation where you analyzed some campaign data, identified areas for improvement, and implemented changes that actually made a difference.
So maybe I noticed a certain social media post was performing really well, so I decided to boost it.
Exactly. Or maybe you identified a drop-off point in a website's conversion funnel, so you made some changes to improve that. The key is to show you're not just a data cruncher, you're a strategic thinker who uses data to make good decisions and get results.
All right, let's tackle another big one. How do you develop a marketing strategy? This feels like they're testing our strategic thinking here.
Oh, they are. They want to see if you understand the whole process from start to finish.
Okay, so where do we even begin?
First, you want to emphasize the importance of market research. How do you gather information about your target audience, your competitors, industry trends?
Okay, so it's all about understanding the landscape before diving into the strategy.
Right. And then you talk about how you translate those insights into actionable marketing objectives. How do you figure out what you want to achieve?
So setting clear goals.
Exactly. Then you explain your approach to actually developing those marketing tactics. How do you choose the right channels, messaging, content to reach your target audience?
Putting all of the pieces together.
And don't forget about measurement. How do you plan to actually track the success of your strategy?
Always got to be tracking and analyzing.
Now, this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a real game changer. By analyzing those job descriptions, it can identify the specific skills employers are looking for.
So it's like having a secret weapon to help us tailor our answers.
Right. You can use that information to highlight the most relevant parts of your strategy development process.
All right, let's move on to another question that focuses on teamwork. How do you collaborate with cross-functional teams, such as sales or product development?
This is all about your interpersonal skills and showing that you understand how marketing fits into the bigger picture.
So how do we highlight our collaboration superpowers?
Start by discussing your approach to communication. Do you prefer email, instant messaging, face-to-face meetings?
I think you make sure everyone's on the same page.
Right. Then talk about your experience with project management. Have you used any tools or software to keep things organized and everyone informed?
Those project management skills, super important.
And don't forget to share specific examples of some successful collaborations. Did you ever work with a sales team to develop a lead generation campaign? Or maybe collaborated with the product development team?
Love those real-world examples. Now, what if they ask, describe a time you had to navigate a conflict with a team member from another department?
This is where you showcase your conflict resolution skills. Don't shy away from talking about a challenging situation. It's more about how you approach the conflict. Did you listen to their perspective? Try to find common ground.
So don't try to pretend we'd never had a conflict.
No, not at all. It's more about showing that you can handle things in a constructive and professional way.
Okay, this next question is all about adaptability. Can you describe a time you had to pivot a marketing campaign because of unexpected circumstances? Marketing is always changing, so you got to be able to adjust.
Oh, absolutely. Think back to a time when a campaign hit a snag. Maybe the budget got cut, a competitor launched a similar campaign, maybe there was a sudden shift in market trends.
So how do we structure our answer?
Describe the situation, explain how you assessed the impact, and then what steps did you take to actually pivot that campaign? Did you have to revise your messaging, adjust your target audience, or come up with totally new tactics?
Shows that you can think on your feet.
Right. And here's a pro tip. Highlight how you use data and insights to inform those decisions.
So you're not just reacting emotionally, but making strategic choices.
Right. Don't forget to mention the outcome. Were you able to achieve your objectives?
All right. On to our final question for this part. How do you prioritize and manage multiple marketing projects at the same time? I struggle with this sometimes.
This is all about showcasing your organizational skills and your ability to juggle those responsibilities.
So how do we convince them that we're masters of multitasking?
Start by talking about your approach to prioritization. How do you decide what's most important, what's most urgent? Do you use a to-do list, a project management tool?
Okay, so lay out our prioritization process.
Right. And then walk them through your process for managing those projects. How do you break down big tasks into smaller steps? How do you track your progress?
Staying organized, meeting those deadlines.
This is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can give you an edge. By looking at the job description, you can identify what project management skills they're looking for.
So it's about tailoring our answers to highlight those skills.
Exactly. For example, if the job description says you need to work independently, you could talk about how you manage your time without constant supervision.
Or if it says collaboration is key, we could talk about using those project management tools to stay in touch with everyone.
Right. Showcase your ability to handle multiple projects, lining up your answers with the needs of the job.
All right, let's say the interviewer asks, tell me about a time you had to juggle multiple deadlines and how you handled the pressure.
This is your chance to shine. Share an example of a time you had a lot on your plate. Explain how you managed your time to meet all those deadlines.
So talk about prioritizing, delegating, communicating with our team.
Exactly. It shows you can handle stress and stay organized.
All right, we've covered a lot in this first part. We've tackled those common marketing assistant interview questions and talked about how to craft good answers.
And how RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your responses.
But our deep dive isn't over yet. In the next part, we'll be exploring even more interview tips and insights,
Including how to showcase your soft skills.
and how to use RoleCatcher to take your career to the next level. So stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive. We've already tackled those tough marketing assistant interview questions, but now let's talk about soft skills.
Yeah, personality and work ethic are important too.
The RoleCatcher Career Guide really emphasizes those soft skills. Strong communication skills, written and verbal, are so important.
That makes sense. You'll be interacting with so many different people, team members, clients, maybe even vendors.
Exactly. And the guide also talks about being proactive, taking initiative.
So not just waiting for instructions, but finding ways to contribute.
Right. Marketing assistants are often the ones keeping things running behind the scenes, anticipating needs, problem solving, taking ownership.
Qualities any hiring manager would love. It shows you're not just punching the clock.
And don't forget about organization and time management. Those are super important when you're juggling projects.
Speaking of deadlines, how can RoleCatcher's AI help with that?
Their platform is great for staying organized. They have a job search planner that keeps all your applications in one place so you can track your progress and deadlines.
That's amazing. No more scrambling to remember when those interviews are.
And beyond just organization, RoleCatcher's AI can even help you find employers that fit your skills. They have this career compass tool that analyzes your profile and recommends companies that are hiring for roles that match you.
So it's like having your own personal headhunter.
Exactly. Take some of that guesswork out.
That's incredible. Okay, let's talk about career advancement. The RoleCatcher Guide lays out a pretty clear path for growth.
It does. It starts with marketing assistant, and then you can move up to marketing coordinator, then marketing specialist, and eventually even marketing manager.
Wow, a lot of room for growth. The guide even breaks down the responsibilities for each role.
It does. So remember that classic interview question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, now you've got an answer.
Exactly. You can talk about your goals, maybe even mention some specific roles you're interested in.
And you can back it up with examples of how you plan to gain those skills and experience.
Show that you're invested in a career, not just a job.
Right. And that you're always learning and growing.
Speaking of growth, what about certifications? The guide mentions a few that can really help a marketing assistant.
Google Analytics is a must-have. And then there are others like HubSpot inbound marketing and Hootsuite social media marketing.
Those show potential employers you're keeping up with the latest and greatest.
Yeah, they demonstrate you're committed to professional development.
Plus, they could be great conversation starters in an interview.
Absolutely. You can talk about the certifications you have, how they've helped you.
Now, what about networking?
Yeah.
The guide really emphasizes how important that is.
It's huge. The guide recommends attending industry events, conferences, joining online communities.
Good ways to connect with people, learn from their experiences, and maybe even discover some hidden job openings.
Right, and don't be afraid to reach out to people you admire. Maybe send a message on LinkedIn, ask for an informational interview.
Yeah, build those relationships. It can open up opportunities.
And don't forget LinkedIn. Keep your profile updated and engage with people.
Now, let's be realistic. No job is perfect, right? The RoleCatcher Guide talks about some potential downsides of being a marketing assistant.
It does. The role can be stressful and demanding, especially during those busy campaign periods.
Yeah, those deadlines.
And it requires strong multitasking and time management. You've got to be comfortable switching between different tasks.
So not for everyone, but for someone who's passionate about marketing and loves a challenge.
Exactly. The potential for growth makes it worth it. Now, before we wrap up, I want to talk a little bit more about interview answers.
Yes. Any specific tips for making our answers stand out?
One of the coolest things about RoleCatcher is its AI feedback. You can actually record yourself answering interview questions, and their AI will analyze it.
Wow, tell me more. How does that work?
It'll give you feedback on your content, your delivery, even your body language.
So it's like having a virtual interview coach.
Exactly. It's a great way to see where you can improve and boost your confidence.
I wish I had something like that when I was starting out.
And don't forget that RoleCatcher can also help you tailor your answers to each specific job. It analyzes the job descriptions so you can highlight those key skills they're looking for.
So we can use RoleCatcher's AI to our advantage.
Yeah.
Craft those perfect answers.
Exactly. In the final part, we'll wrap up with some final thoughts and tips for your marketing assistant interview.
Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive. Feeling ready to tackle those marketing assistant interviews.
Awesome. Remember, we've covered so much already. Understanding the role, crafting those answers, using RoleCatcher's AI.
Now it's putting it all together, right?
Exactly. Time to bring your A game to the interview. So let's talk about those final tips to really make a good impression. First up, research the company.
Oh, such a good point. So many people skip that.
I know, right? Spend some time on their website, their social media, check out any recent news articles, anything you can find.
Shows you're interested, you've done your homework.
Plus, it can give you some ideas for things to talk about. You can mention a campaign you liked or something about their company culture.
It shows you've really thought about it. You're not just reading the job description.
Now, let's talk about those first impressions when you walk in the room. What do you think is the most important thing?
Confidence. Even if you're nervous, you got to project that confidence, show your enthusiasm.
Definitely. Make eye contact, smile, give a firm handshake. Little things like that go a long way.
And dress the part, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Even if it's a casual company, better to be a bit more formal for the interview.
Okay, now during the interview, remember to be a good listener. Pay attention to what they're asking, answer thoughtfully, and be concise.
And don't be afraid to ask your own questions.
Shows you're engaged, you're curious.
Exactly. It's good to have a few questions prepared beforehand that show you've thought about the company and the role.
All right, so what about that moment at the end when they ask, do you have any questions for us? That always feels so high pressure.
It can be, yeah. But it's your chance to really make an impact. Use that time to reiterate your interest, maybe clarify something. You could even ask for feedback.
Ooh, bold move, but I like it. Shows you're serious about the opportunity.
Exactly. And one last thing, don't forget the thank you note.
Definitely. But we talked about this. A generic thank you can get lost.
Yeah.
How do we make ours stand out?
Personalize it. Mention a detail you discussed or reiterate a skill or experience you have.
Yeah, reinforce those good impressions.
Exactly. Okay, now we've talked a lot about the practical stuff, but don't forget about your mindset.
All right, tell me more. Getting philosophical here.
It's easy to get stressed during a job search, but remember, you have so much to offer. You have to believe in yourself, your skills, your potential.
Yeah, so easy to get down on yourself, but remembering your worth is key.
Absolutely. And celebrate those wins, big or small. Every interview helps you learn and grow.
So to wrap this all up, you're now equipped to rock that marketing assistant interview.
Remember, preparation is key. Practice. Tailor your resume, use that RoleCatcher AI, and believe in yourself.
We're rooting for you to land that dream job. Good luck, and let us know how it goes.